What's going on, Atlanta Fight fans? We are live once again, NFC Podcast. Prior to the night before, I think the last time we did this, we did it the same way, right? It was the night before our last show. Um, I am Jose Santiago. That is David Oblas. I am known. I've renamed myself. I am Budget Bruce, and he is, as you can
Discount
see,
Dana.
Discount Dana. How is the most eligible bachelor in Georgia doing?
I just got done making I haven't even told you we're doing a Friendsgiving at my house Sunday with our pizza club that you make fun of all the time.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have 15 or 20 people in my house. So I just made my Rice Krispie treat drumsticks that I make for my Thanksgiving all the time for the family. So my hands are full like Pam butter right now.
Did you guys order did you order the inflatable slides and stuff for the front for your little pizza group?
There's no inflatable slides. I've got a fire pit outside, a little gas fire pit. I'm scared of the real fire pits. I don't do the wood thing. So I've got the gas fire pit. Got the cornhole boards that are wrapped with NFC. I don't know if anyone's seen what I did out there, but it's pretty cool. So I'll post a photo later in a advertisement of the company.
Is the hot tub in the backyard yet?
It's not. So that's a sore subject. Philippe Gentry, owner of SPG Buford and now SPG Atlanta, had a hot tub that he got about a year ago. He turned it into a beer cooler. He was going to sell me the hot tub for very cheap. Called me actually yesterday to say the hot tub is it's not working. It's going to the junkyard.
So, oh no!
Discount Dana will not be buying a hot tub for a while unless I see one on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace.
I can't help but notice. Put your head down a little bit. You're still wearing the Auburn, huh?
This is my Auburn hat from college. So
really,
they should be in the game tomorrow. They were robbed, and Auburn's not in it.
Yeah, man.
Which I know you don't even watch college football. I remember we talked about it a long time ago.
I was watching the game last week. I was watching the game last week. My daughter's boyfriend is an absolute diehard Georgia fan, and he's doing a really good job. He said he's going to make me a Bulldogs fan, and so I've been watching the Bulldogs, and so I'm watching them the year that they're doing well. So the fact that they're doing well is obviously, what am I going to say? It's because of me.
And you have a red hoodie on. You got red and black today.
Red and black on. Not for the NFC. It's for Georgia. So speaking of Georgia, tomorrow, big fight, right? Big fight card. We're really excited about it. I think is it 11 total fights on tomorrow?
It's unfortunately 10 fights because the Michael Fortner fight got dropped. So unfortunately 10 fights tomorrow, plus the SEC championship. Doors open up at 3:30. We'll be showing the game on districts 40. I don't even know it's 40 feet. I just use the number 40 feet because people aren't going to challenge me on that. So it'll be shown on their 40-foot big screen, starting at 4 o'clock. Fights will start about 7. And I say about 7. If the game's, a tie game, we might delay the fights a little bit. If it's a blowout, we're starting at 7 o'clock. So we're kind of play that by ear. Not even delay it too long if it's a close game, maybe 7:15, 7:30. Because a lot of people that come there for the fights that might not be football fans, such as the old Jose Santiago. So we do need to start a closer on time.
Right.
But we're playing that by ear and, start the fight sometime after the game ends or when it's a blowout.
And similar situation as 2 weeks ago when we were at Tannery Row. We're streaming as well, right? But it's not on Flow.
Yeah, so we did too many fights this year. We did 13 fights this year, and I didn't know it because I had never looked at it, neither did Flow. But my contract with Flow only called for 11 fights this year because that's what we projected. So the thing that sucks is Flow doesn't pay me a lot of money. Hopefully Flow's not watching, but it's not that big of money that they pay. Right. So they said they couldn't budget 2 more fights this year. So we're doing it online. It'll be on pay-per-view. It's $20. We're having it streamed on the NFCfighting.com. So the same link you send out for fight tickets is the same link you can watch on pay-per-view. So yeah, it is what it is. These last 2 fights will be on pay-per-view. And we'll go back to Flow Combat in January for MMA and then Flow Grappling in January for Jiu-Jitsu.
Nice. Well, speaking of tomorrow's show, we had you had the weigh-ins, and I want to bring in Jesse, our matchmaker, talk about the weigh-ins, talk about some of the fights that he's looking forward to. Let's bring him in. Jesse,
what's going on?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well. So before we jumped on air, right before we went live, Dave, you mentioned AEW. Is that a wrestling thing?
I guess no more NFC now that he's an AEW guy from last night. Bought that hoodie and NFC t-shirts in the trash.
So I'm assuming AEW is wrestling. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, it's the newer WWE type promotion. It's like a rival, like the old WCW versus WWF going on right now. They were at the Gwinnett Arena last night, and me and the cage setup guy Eric Wolfe went down together. It was a good time.
Sweet, awesome. Well, let's talk about real fighting now. So today's weigh-ins, Jesse, how did it go?
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the weigh-ins today. I had to work. David was there, but it looks like everything went good. Everybody made weight. All 10 fights are still a go, so everything I seemingly went well.
I think we had a couple people miss weight. I think maybe 2 or 3 missed weight. I did hear probably 6 or 7 times your scale is wrong. I was on weight at my scale in my gym. So I think I heard that 6 or 7 times today, which everyone that made weight said our scale was right on. So it's always fun to hear that.
That's a prominent thing, though, right? I mean, you've been doing this for almost 20 years. No scale has ever been right at the weigh-ins.
Yeah, fat people think the scale is broken. Thin people think the scale is right on.
Right. Jesse, tomorrow, Well, first of all, let's talk about the Fortner fight, right? That was a big fight on the card, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Talk to us a little bit about what went down there.
Yeah, unfortunately, his opponent just went MIA. He sent in his 7-day weight video a week ago. He was just barely within 10% of the weight class, but, was on track to make weight. Sold a few tickets. Never had a problem with his gym. I know his coach pretty well, Graham Prue. Not really sure what happened there, but he basically reached out to us the other day saying he's MIA. I can't get a hold of him. We needed his driver's license for the commission. There was all sorts of stuff going down where he couldn't send us a driver's license picture. Just nutty stuff happens really behind the scenes sometimes. Me and David were basically spending 3 or 4 days talking to his coach about just getting a picture of his driver's license. I mean, it's nuts sometimes.
And it's crazy because usually the obstacle is getting their blood test and eye test. He had his blood test and eye test done. He did the 7-day weigh-in video, which is 7-day weigh-in video is the first time we've ever seen a guy have to get naked for the 7-day weigh-in video. Usually it's like them shooting it in their boxers with the mirror in front of them to show they're on the scale and nothing around them. He had someone, probably his girlfriend, filming him, takes off his boxer shorts, just covering his privates. And it's the first time we've seen a weigh-in video of it like that. It was kind of strange to get that on email.
Maybe we should show it on the big screen tomorrow. Just that video. So Jesse, otherwise, I mean, it's still a stacked card. Talk to us about some of the matchups you're looking forward to.
Yeah, the main event tomorrow, Jason Wolfe versus Quentin Culpepper, is going to be an awesome fight. Quentin Culpepper trains under Bubby Mitchell. We're actually doing a show at his gym February 19th. But he actually holds the record in Florida for the fastest knockout in Florida history, 4 seconds. Y'all need to look that up on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Quentin Culpepper, Combat Night knockout, 4 seconds. It was pretty crazy. And he's going against Jason Wolfe, who's basically fought everybody who's tough in Georgia. That's going to be an awesome fight. The co-main event, Chrissa Timms. She's going against Carolyn Briscoe-Rowe. She's from up north in Michigan. But excited to see Chrissa make her pro debut. Her husband, Doug Usher, just fought on the card a couple weeks ago. He's also going to be on the podcast later. She's going to be fighting, so that's awesome. But definitely the fight that I'm looking forward to the most is for the NFC Georgia Lightweight Championship between Dominic Colangelo and Christian Turner. Dominic Colangelo coming out of SBG Buford. His only 2 losses are to Mike Bardsley, who just went pro, and to Jabril Malik, who's really tough. And that fight was close. I got to say, I think Dominic won that fight. Christian Turner, 3-0, fighting out of American Top Team, Team Lima. He's exciting. He's got 1 decision and 2 knockouts under his resume. But like Dominic said, all of his opponents are 0-1. So everybody that Christian Turner has fought is 0 wins, 1 loss. It's going to be – Dominic has definitely fought tougher competition. So I'm excited for it. But that kid's 19 years old. He's young. He's hungry. I actually won the same championship when I was 19 years old, 11 years ago. I had Jose, name me the winner. It was awesome. So I'm always excited to see the 155-pound title fights for an amateur. It's cool.
And back then, I got you that cheap-ass rinky-dinky belt back then.
Yeah.
The belts have definitely come a long way.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those belts hung up. Yeah, I got a little one hung up in my room, but yeah, they've definitely improved along the years.
Well, for $200, we can get you one.
I remember when Budget Bruce was announcing back in those days, Oblas used to and it was really me, I think. I used to reach out to him and say, hey, you need to help me out. I want to make sure. I was scarred because Southside Steve would mispronounce like everyone's names. And I'll never forget when Oblas told me, he's like, there's a guy named Jesse fighting on the card. Make sure you don't call him Wobble. It's not Wobble, it's Wable. I was like, done
It's
deal.
table with a W.
Yes, table. So it's Wable forever. I never messed it up though. I got it right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did you do with Saba's name last couple weeks ago at Tannery Row?
I literally had to break it. Cause she fought before, and I literally butchered the name. Like it was, I literally did something, and Julian made fun of me, and I made fun of myself. I literally, when I ring announced her the first time, I said Saba. I just made a sound. I was like, oh my God. But the last time I did well, I broke it down in syllables and I just slowed everything down. But that's a tough one.
See, when I did it at weigh-ins, I just called her Saba when I called her up. I didn't shoot for the last name. I just went with Saba, weighed 115.2.
That's the one name like Madonna. I'm gonna do that next time. Cool. All right. So listen, we got a promo I want to show everyone. Jesse, stick around because I actually we're going to talk to both fighters. You just talked about the fight that you're excited about, Dominic and Christian. We're going to show their promo. As soon as we come back out of their promo, we're going to bring in Dominic first. Then we'll talk to Christian after Dominic. But I'm going to see if we can get all four of us, the three of us, with them on the screen as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at their promo.
My name is Dominic Colangelo, and I fight for SBG Buford, and I'm fighting for the 155 championship. And my opponent is Christian Turner.
I'm Christian the Titan Turner. I'm fighting out of American Top Team, Team Lima. I'm a 155 lightweight fighter, and I'm coming for the NFC belt. I'm 19 years old. I think he's coming in here with the motives to try to beat on some kid, or that's what he thinks is going to go on, but it's not happening.
I do feel that has a little bit of an advantage because I've been doing martial arts longer than he's been alive.
I grew up fighting in the streets. You know, I was the oldest brother of 3. I had to defend my brothers and be the man of the house at a young age. I was born to be a fighter. I'm not coming to play with anybody.
The last 3 people he's fought, man, they were just like punching bags. They're like walking forward, letting him punch and not throwing punches back. I'm going to be able to use my wrestling and his poor jiu-jitsu to my advantage. One of the many things I'm going to exploit during a fight.
All these old guys running their mouth, they're going to get the fuck out of here because these young guys are coming and I'm coming to eat and I'm taking out anything. I'm not just trying to be some good amateur. I'm going to go to the highest level. I'm going to set the new standards. I'm Christian the Titan Turner. I'm fighting December 4th in District, Atlanta.
I'm going to show you why this is going to be the fight of the year.
Let's do it.
Well, there we go.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Dominic? Welcome to the show, man. I was able to pull it off. So we're all on here. Oblas, I know you're probably freaking out right now because you're thinking, are all 3 of us going to start bombarding him with questions?
I'm just freaking out, wondering if my bill is going to go higher because we have 4 people on this from monthly usage.
I found out we can have up to 10 people on here. I found out, by the way. So if the bill can go higher because we have 10 people, next podcast, we're going with 10. Dominic, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. You know, we were talking to Jesse prior to bringing you on, and he said he's excited about this fight, man. You obviously got the promo. It's kind of a big deal. You're going in there against a tough lion. But as you mentioned, and Jesse mentioned, this is going to be a test for him. But how do you feel about going in there against Christian?
You know, I think it's going to be a test for both of us, you know. Obviously, his opponents haven't been to my caliber, you know, opponents. But you can always tell a fighter. You can tell when someone's a fighter, you know, when they go out there and they fight, you know. So he's definitely a fighter. So I'm excited for this. I know it's going to be a hard fought match, and I'm just excited to get out there. I just love fighting, you know. I do it for fun. I love it so much. So, you know, and I love to test myself against the best people, and he's right there as being the best, I guess, right now at 155. So I'm excited, you know.
Let's rewind a little bit, just because maybe some people that are watching us don't even know who Dominic Colangelo is. Who is Dominic Colangelo? What's life outside of fighting? What else do you do outside of training and preparing to get ready for a fight?
Honestly, I don't do much. I'm just like just a normal person. I go to work. 8 hours a day, go train for like 3 hours, come home, spend time with the wife and the kids. I have a wife, 2 kids. They're not mine, but they're hers. I treat them like they're mine. And just a family person outside. Nothing really super, super special. But I've been doing martial arts my whole life, and it's fun.
You have been wrestling for 20 years. I know that. I've known that before, but I read it again in the bio you submitted. Without telling him what you're going to do in the fight, how do you think that's going to make a huge difference? In the video, you said he has 0 jiu-jitsu, and you have 20 years wrestling.
Yeah, I've been wrestling since 2nd grade, so it's been a long time, and I definitely think that's an advantage over me. We both everybody has an advantage in some type of way, in the fight, and it's whoever can work their game better in a fight that wins, So when I watch his fights, I didn't really see much jiu-jitsu. Maybe he was holding back a little bit, given the rules, because it doesn't make sense to take mount and stuff like that at regular amateur MMA. But from what I've seen, it didn't really seem like he had much jiu-jitsu, some wrestling, and he's a good striker. He has fast hands. So that's what I took out of watching his fights. Fast hands, good striker, decent wrestling, not as good as mine, decent, and not too much jiu-jitsu. But like I said, he could have been holding some back, just given the rule set for that the fight.
So recently, the Georgia State Athletic Commission changed the title fights to 5 rounds instead of 3 rounds. What have you done this camp to kind of get ready for 5 rounds as opposed to potentially 3 rounds?
Honestly, I've just been doing the same. I've been in training camp mode. I know I haven't fought in like a year, but I've been in training camp mode for 4 or 5 months now. So, and as far as, like not getting a fight for a while, it doesn't really matter to me. I've been competing my whole life. So I can go a year, I can go 2 years without fighting, and I'll feel comfortable in the cage. So really, I didn't really do nothing. We're doing like 15 rounds of training, having a fresh body on me every single round. I stay in, and we just do 15 rounds. That's what we would do like on our little harder days. But really, everything kind of stayed the same. Just pushing the pace. Well, you do have to change the pace a little bit, on a 5-round fight. But I've been, like I said, 15 rounds each time we've been training for it. So my cardio is right there. Even after 15 rounds, I'm still fresh. I mean, of course, you still get tired, of course, but I'm still fresh. So 5 rounds doesn't really make a difference.
The crowd that, I guess it's customary these days, right? When you have an SBG fighter, there's going to be a big crowd. You guys get a lot of support from your gym. Are you kind of expecting that tomorrow night as well?
Yeah. I love it. When I fought from, I put my one opponent, Tyler Trump, from SBG, the whole crowd chanting SBG, it feels good, it feels good. And I know he's going to have a big crowd too. So I think it might be 50-50. We both have big schools. So it's definitely going to be exciting. This is definitely the most fun fight of the card, like no doubt. Like this is really fun.
And I was going to ask, you do have the SBG shirt on today. You had it on at weigh-ins. And I love Philippe Gentry and those guys. This is your first fight, I think, with SBG since you transferred out of World Jiu-Jitsu Academy, Lady Bree. Yeah. What kind of difference does that make training? A much larger gym over there, I guess.
The main difference is you have so many more bodies, You go into Muay Thai, you have 30 people to train with, Go into Jiu-Jitsu, you have 30, 40, 50 people to train with, and everybody, there's a lot of people around my weight, 155 is the most popular weight, I feel like. So you always have bodies. So the biggest thing, and their Jiu-Jitsu is amazing. So, switching schools, my Jiu-Jitsu, my wrestling has, even though I've been wrestling for a while, it's gotten so much better. especially my jiu-jitsu. And, getting some good work with Muay Thai too, because they have about, like I said, 30 people per class. And so it's been good. I just got so much better training with different people. Everybody has a different style, and you can just get all those different styles in. So it's been really good.
And this is your first fight of your career, not having Lady Bree in your corner, Sean Kilgus, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He's it was different, the whole weight cut process a little different, everything has been a little different, but it's been fine. They treated me like a family from the moment I got there. So everything has been fine.
All right, so I ask this all the time, and it's customary. If you're a fighter, you're going to get this question every time. How do you see tomorrow happening? You got any predictions? How do you see the fight going?
I see, there's so many different ways I can see this fight going. This is so exciting. Okay, so honestly, I think I submit him in the first or second round. We'll see how he reacts when he gets hit hard. I mean, if you watch his fights, I know he's a quote unquote street fighter, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't got punched hard. No matter what happens in a fight, he's going to get punched hard in this fight. And I know he's going to punch me hard too. But how does he react from getting punched hard first in the fight? And it's different getting punched hard in training. I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's hard. But getting punched hard in a fight, everyone's cheering, your head's ringing. You're like, oh, let's see how he reacts to that, But I'm going to be using my wrestling and jiu-jitsu mainly. So I see submission first or second round.
Awesome. You guys got anything else for Dominic before we send him off and get his mind so he can relax his mind and get ready for tomorrow?
No, just excited for it, man. Get some sleep, rest up. Can't wait to see the fight tomorrow.
Yes, right. Thank you guys.
No problem. Dominic, we're about to bring Christian on. As soon as we disconnect with you, we're going to bring him on. Do you want to give him a message that he's listening? He's already on deck listening in.
Just, I'm looking forward to having a fun fight. I know this is going to be a fun fight. So bring the fight to me because I'm going to bring the fight to you. And fuck it. Let's have it. Let's go at it.
All right. Well, sounds good. Dominic, thanks for joining us here on the podcast, man. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're looking forward to a great fight.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care. Nice dude. I didn't want to ask him because I didn't want to offend him. How old is he?
I don't know. If you give me a minute, I can look at it and tell you. I don't know offhand.
Because I know Christian is the young lion, right? Christian
I think he's closer to 30, but I can't tell you exactly.
The funny thing is he sounds exactly like Rory Singer. I don't know if either one of you guys picked up on that. As he was talking.
If he's been wrestling since he was in second grade, he's probably 26, 27.
So Christian is 19 and 6 feet tall. Let's see. Damn it, where is he on my spreadsheet here? Dominic, 29, 5'7". So 10 years, 29 and 19.
Jesse, for a 29-year-old, this is still amateur, right?
Yeah, advanced amateur.
Is that normal for a 29-year-old still be amateur?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of times some fighters don't even start training or fighting until they're 30. So, yeah, it's pretty normal.
Is it? Okay, cool. Well, he's going to be in with a young lion, a very confident young lion. I appreciate this kid. I love watching him fight. I mean, he's got, from my perspective, he's got the right attitude. He's got the right physique. He's got the right look. So let's just bring him in. Let's bring in Christian Turner.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Hey.
What's going on, Christian? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good. So the weigh-ins went well. You sized up. I didn't notice. Actually, I didn't take a good look at the picture. Is there a big height difference between you and Dominic?
Yeah, I realized that too. Like, I walked up to him, was like, damn, I thought he was going to be the same size, but he's a little more shorter, stocky guy, That's more of his kind of physique, so, yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you right off the bat is the talk has been, he's the older guy. You're the young lion coming in. Yes. How much of a difference do you think the age and your youth will play into the fight?
Well, I mean, as far as age, I feel like certain aspects, age really doesn't matter. I think it comes to skill. Now, age does come into play because at the end of the day, he does have grown man strength, and I mean, that's understandable, reasonable, but I feel like at the end of the day, it comes to skill. It comes to skill and who's putting in the most work and who really wants it, because it's a fight. So,
Yeah, the other thing that has been mentioned is the records and the opponents that you guys have
right,
faced, and the differences there, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you haven't fought a fighter that has won a fight,
Right.
and then now you're going in there against Dominic. What's your take on that talk when people talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm just like, at the end of the day, they kind of make it seem like I'm like a boxer or something. Like I'm like, oh, let me get him or him. Nah, I just go to Diego. I say, hey, dude, can I fight? I need a fight. I'm hungry. Can I get a fight? And he goes out and he does all that. He talks to Mr. Oblas and Mr. Wable, and he does that. He comes back to me like, look, fight this guy. Da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, whoever's in front of me, I'm gonna fight. I don't cherry pick. I don't care what record you have or anything like that. I just talk to Brantley and Diego, and they just get a guy and they say, hey, look, fight, be here this time. It doesn't matter. I'll fight somebody 10-0 or whatever. I'm not one of those guys. Like, I'll fight anybody that's in my way,
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Dominic said in the NFC Engage video that he's been doing martial arts longer than you've been alive.
Right, yeah.
How long have you been training? I know you're 19 years old, but how long have you been training? And have you trained anywhere else except for ATT Lima?
I started training at 18. Like, I only been training 18? A year. I only been training a year, 4 hours a day. I'm like, the reason is just like, it's kind of like I was born with a gift and I just put in the work. Like, I'm not training with scrubs, like crackheads off the street. Like, I train with champions, Douglas Lima, Will Brooks, Cody Durden, Brantley. Like, I'm training with high level guys who've been in the game for a long time. So it's like, I'm just at the gym, like soaking it up like a rag, like from those guys. And they're giving me advice on how to move and how to perform. That's kind of just how I operate. Like, I come in every day just trying to be a better version of myself, and, I'm not training with just randoms. Like, these guys are high level guys and they know what it takes to be champion. So I just take orders from them. I listen to what they say and I kind of move with that,
That's super surprising. Sorry, not to cut you off, but that's super surprising to me that you've only been training for a year because I don't know if you watched the post-fight press conferences. Shout out to Julian Virgin.
Yeah,
but I told him on the last one, I said, Christian Turner, that kid is a beast.
Yeah.
Not only do I think he's probably going to be an amateur champion, but I think he's going to have a successful pro career. I had no idea you've only been training for a year. You look like you've been training for a while.
Yeah, man. Only a year, dude. Like I said, a cop got me into this. Troy, he got me into this. He was just, I called him one day, like, dude, like, can I, what's up with the fight? And at first, like, in a little town like Rockdale, it's like nobody's fighting. Like, you got the rappers and you got all that, but it's like MMA. What is that? Like, what are you doing? Like, and it's like, I was just like, hey, let me try it out. And I went to the gym and then it just kind of went from there. I just started training every day,
When you said you used to get in street fights, did you ever fight Germonte in the streets?
Germonte.
You don't know who Germonte is?
Do not know who that is.
Oh my God, you're that young.
He's that
who
young.
Is that?
Do you know the Demonic Hitters?
I don't know who that is. Wow. I'm a young gun, man.
Look it up on YouTube after the podcast.
I can't be picking on me, man.
So speaking of fighting in the streets and Troy Quick, and I asked you about this earlier to make sure you're okay to talk about it. So I spent about 6 hours, about a week or two with Troy Quick in a Gwinnett County courthouse that we have a common friend that we had to go there to talk with. And 6 hours, he talked about you quite a bit for those 6 hours I was with him. And Troy Quick, pretty amazing dude. If people don't know who he is. And one thing he told me is you used to be pretty involved in gangs a couple years ago. And MMA has kind of changed your life, and being a part of ATT Lima has changed you as well.
Yeah. Like I said, like I wasn't, I faced tribulations and, at a young age in life, like, father abandoned me, which is my mother struggling and, foster care and things like that. So I was just kind of looking for that role model in my life and, those things in my life. So it kind of led me to look in the wrong places. I forced it, I didn't really have anybody be like, hey kid, like, yo, let me take you under my wing. So that's how I got involved in that. And, you know, there was always this cop at my high school. I went to Rockdale High School. I wrestled for like a year. I went to Rockdale, and there was always this cop, you know, buff cop. And we always knew him as a buff cop. You know, I actually met him. He was actually chasing me down in his black
He told me that.
Scary cop, you know, used to wear a Scully, walk around with a gun, like, holy shit, like, yo, that's Troy. And I was like, who is that guy? I was like, that's Troy, bro. That guy's fucking, it's scary. Stay away from that guy. So, you know, sometimes things just happen for a reason in life. You know, we just ended up crossing paths, and he was like, look, kid, and, you know, and he just started talking to me, and it was like, why are you talking to that cop, bro? I seen you going to that cop's office. Like, I was like, nah, he's cool, man. He's cool. And he would always talk about like Douglas and these guys, like these Brazilian guys. And I'm like, who's Douglas? Like, I wouldn't pay him out. Like, who are these guys? You know what I'm saying? Like cage fighting. Like, I'm too pretty. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have that demeanor. Like, I ain't trying to get hit in the face, man. Like, you know, but yeah, I guess he heard about just like, cause I, just the gangs and things, like we would have to fight in the streets and just getting a lot of altercations. Cause I was a good looking kid, so the guy, you know how it is. The guys kind of pick on you. Like, you know, if you're a good looking kid and the girls kind of pay attention to you, then the guys will try to be like, oh, who is this kid? Like, and they'll try to find something to pick on. So they used to get on, cause my mom couldn't really get all the Jordans and all the expensive, that made you popular in school. I didn't have those things. So they'd be like, oh, look at his shoes or look at his things. And then I would, so it would just be like, things like that. Like, I'm not trying to glorify shit. It's more like a have to kind of thing,
If you didn't find ATT Lima in MMA, where would you probably be right now?
Dude, man, I'd be lost, man, to be honest. I'd be lost. Like, these guys took me under their wing. Like, I was just like, dude, like, literally, I'll mop the floor, clean the windows. Like, just let me come to the gym. Let me train. Let me be here. Me and Brantley, built a relationship. Like, I know his family. Like, I really eat with these people, spend Thanksgiving with them. Like, it's more than just like a coach, like athlete kind of thing. Like, it's like family. Like, they took me in. It was like, look, I see this kid's hungry and he wants to learn. It's like, let me give him this knowledge, and then it's kind of like the father figures,
And you've actually been training with Brantley while American Top Team's been shut down, right?
Yeah.
I've seen you training in his front yard, hitting pads and everything.
The fur farm, yeah. I just go to his house and we train right there on the concrete, right in the driveway. Like, it's like, dude, let's get it anywhere. Let's just get the work, bro. Let's just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just about the work, man.
Well, tomorrow, speaking of work, tomorrow you got your work cut out for you. How do you see tomorrow going? We asked Dominic the same question. How do you see tomorrow? How do you see the fight going tomorrow against Dominic?
Obviously, I'm coming to win. I'm coming to perform. He said a few things like poor jiu-jitsu and kind of like disrespected my skills. It's like, okay, if that's how you feel, then it is what it is. But it's just, I'm coming to perform, man. Wherever the fight goes, it's not about being a striker or being a wrestler. It's about being a all-around mixed martial artist. Wherever the fight goes, I'm trying to dominate, And yeah, he's an older guy, so I think that's where he gets like this, I've been training before he was born. But it'll show, he was talking like, oh, take a year, 2 years off and I feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. If I miss a day in the gym, I feel like I'm losing one of my 6-packs. And I'm like trying to be in there the next day, So, I mean,
I'm the same way.
Right? Yeah. Like, come on.
So if you win tomorrow night, you've only been training a year. You just got out of the gangs a year, 2 years, whatever ago. Yeah. You win tomorrow night, me or Jesse strap that title belt around your waist.
I don't know.
How much does that mean to you?
It means a lot, man. It's a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone. Like, this is just a start. I'm very grateful for y'all. I'm really trying to take this as far as it can go. Like, to him, this is just like he said, it's just fun, which it is fun for me. But this is like my life, man. Like, I put everything into this. I don't have any family or I can just run back to and, hang Christmas ornaments up with and, play with the kids outside. Like, dude, this is what I do. This is what I do. I'm not a 30-year-old guy that just comes in and out like, let me just go get a fight and fight some kid. And, I'm a 19-year-old trying to make it in life. Like, my life depends on this, dude, like, I need this to work, you know, and I'm putting everything into it. I'm sacrificing so much, like, you know, so it's just different.
How's the support? How do you expect the support to be? You know, he's an SBG guy.
Yeah.
SBG guys bring a crowd, man.
Yeah,
What kind of
SBG.
support are you looking for tomorrow?
You know, he can have the bigger crowd. He can have people booing, but you know, I have my real people who stick by me, and that's all that matters, man. Family, people who are beside my side, you know, really beside me and care about me. Like that's all that matters. I know SBG is like the big thing. I know Jesse. I think you come out of SBG too, right? Like you. It's a hot gym. It's a hot gym. Everybody's at SBG, but hey, you know, it's just about being with my team, the people who really care about me, and let's do it. You know.
All right. Well, I'll ask you just like I asked him to close it out. Any last words for he's still on deck. I could see that he's still listening and he's paying attention. Any words for him before we let you go, Christian?
I just want to say, bro, like, hey, all respect, you know, stand behind what you're saying, you know, just have that same confidence. And I'm coming to bang, bro. You want to fight, you know, I'm coming to fight, bro. You want to bang it out, and we can bang it out, bro. Like, you know, I'm not playing any games. Like, let's go. And if you can rock me, dude, rock me. And you better beat me. Because I'm going to make sure if I rock you, I'm going to take your ass out, bro. So let's do it.
Sounds good, man. Christian, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us tonight. Rest up and, yeah, man, get ready. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Hey, have a good night, all right?
I'm going to quiz you tomorrow on who Germonta Brown is. So go on YouTube, Germonta.
All right. I will look it up right now.
All right, man. Take care, Christian.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Later.
Man, that's a slap in the face to everything that NFC has been.
Right.
The last 5 years and not know Germonta Brown.
Undefeated David Jiu-Jitsu's opponent.
I know. I didn't
even have to say it.
I honestly thought he was going to say, isn't that the dude that you beat?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Oblas reminds everyone every week of that.
Discount Dana, no one knows the past. It's old news now.
Yeah, it's old news. All right, so couple of weeks ago, we were at Buford. We were up in Buford at Tannery Row, and we did a show the night before, just like we're doing, you know, a show before tomorrow night's fights. And I went on and on about how excited I was to see Doug Usher, just because I'm a big fan. Obviously, just like you guys, right? We've been watching Doug Usher perform for so long now. And for whatever reason, I don't know, you know, we're going to talk to him about it. I don't know why none of the big shows haven't called this guy. It's almost like he's a timeless wonder. He doesn't get old. Every time he goes out, he almost looks better, even though he's aging, and he still hasn't gotten the call. So I want to definitely ask him some of those questions. But anyway, the main event 2 weeks ago at Tannery Row was Doug Usher. He came in. It didn't last a round. And Jesse, you had talked about it. You had said that you brought in a good opponent for him this time. And Doug just walked right through him.
Walked right through him. In the first round, again, like I said, he's 13-3 now, I believe, 11 knockouts, 1 submission, 1 decision. I really, really hope 2022 is his year and that he hooks up with a good manager, gets into the UFC, Bellator, and things work out for him.
Oblas, are you going to ask him to smile when we bring him on?
I'm going to ask him if he's retired or not. And if 2 minutes later he wants to come out of retirement again. He's the Brett Favre of MMA.
All right. So anyway, he's sitting on deck. I see him. So let's go ahead and bring in Doug Usher. Doug, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
So he's going to ask, what is it that you were going to ask him? You're not going to ask him to smile.
No, that doesn't happen. So I'm not going to ask you to smile. If you want to smile, you can smile. We're not going to stop you to. But did you retire? Hey!
No, I haven't retired yet. You know, we're playing things by ear right now. Probably looking at about another 5 years before I'm officially hanging up.
Now, Doug, yeah, I mean, first of all, I didn't get an opportunity to do it the night a couple weeks ago, but congratulations on a great victory, man. That was awesome. You know, I had mentioned to Jesse, you know, we were talking about your fight the night before we did a podcast, and you know, Jesse was saying, hey, you know, he's looking forward to your fight because he brought in a guy that he felt was going to be a challenge. And dude, you walked right through the guy. Didn't even last a round.
Well, Clarence he's tough. He was bigger than what I expected. This guy actually, he's been fighting at 85 his last 2 fights. He last 2 or either 3, but it looked like he put on some weight. He bulked up, and he was bigger than I expected. And I knew that this guy was going to be better than what he looks on film. Usually most of my opponents are. So, I get a lot of heat from people because, they're like, man, you're going to kill this guy, this, and that. And I'm like, hey, man, no, it's not like that. I was like, to me, competing in MMA is the same as competing in football, where you can be the worst team can beat the best team on any given Sunday. That is a cardinal rule in football, and we see it all the time. When Appalachian State beat Michigan that one time, that one year, it happens all the time, man. Upsets. So I have to go into each fight prepared that this guy can beat me by any given method at any given moment, and that's my mindset. So I don't like when people tell me I'm going to run through somebody or I'm going to smash somebody, because I have a terrible phobia of being overconfident. And I was explaining this to someone the other day, that it's something inside of me that I cannot control, even though people tell me to be positive, think positive visualization. When each fight, my nerves are so bad because from the last 2 weeks before the fight, I've had nothing but negative visualizations of this guy knocking me out. In my dreams, Clarence knocked me out 30 or 40 times, head kicks, punches, dropped me, TKO'd me. So when I go into the fight, I've already lost that fight several times before I even get to the venue. So, but in a way, it's a good thing, because in ancient Japan, the samurais used to sit and meditate with negative visualization of them being killed over and over and over and over in battle before they actually went to battle. But what it did was it made them not afraid to fight to the death.
So a couple of years ago, you actually retired. One of your 600 retirements that I joke with you about, but you actually retired, and you said on social media it's because of mental struggles or blood pressure, or just getting too nervous. Has that cured itself, or are you just figuring out a way to deal with it?
I figured out what it was. Let's face it, man. I'm older now. I'm knocking on 40. I'll be 39 in January. As a professional athlete, once you start the age like that, plus trying to balance doing MMA and working a full-time job and a side job, it's hard, man. And then you're trying to train, you work all day, you're tired from work, you get off and go train, and you don't take a day off. I was so used to not taking days off, and that when my body was like, hey, man, you need to sit down for a day or two. No, man, no, I got to go train. I get up, I go train, because I was too terrified of this guy being better than me. So I was burning myself out. And in my mind, there's no such thing as overtraining. I found out the hard way. I had several nervous breakdowns to where I would be in the gym, and I was going with a D1 wrestler this one time, and I was preparing for the Bellator fight. It was a 1-fight deal, and I was going to fight Austin Vanderford, who's a collegiate wrestler. And I'm at ATT. At the time, it was Gwinnett, Douglas Lehman's old gym. And I'm training with this D1 wrestler, and he just, boom, throws this hellacious shot. I underhook, I defend, I sprawl, and I throw him off of me, and the guy turns around and goes, nice. And I broke down crying. I had to run. I ran off the mat, and I buried my head into the corner. And I cried like a baby. I just held my hands over my face. I just cried and cried and cried. And I knew then that something was seriously wrong. And I lost my appetite. I lost my desire to train. I was walking around work, scared, shaking, upset stomach, throwing up, splitting. I had a pounding headache for 2 weeks straight, and then I failed my physical, and I wasn't cleared to fight because I was just such a nervous wreck. And then I tried to do it again with the Ring of Combat fight right after that, and same thing happened again, and I just couldn't put it together. So I retired, and it took me 2 years to figure out that, hey, man, you're in your upper 30s now. You need rest days. You can't be wide open 7 days a week. It's not going to work like it did when you were 26, 27, when you first came into MMA. And so once I got that understanding, then I began to train again. Then I began to enjoy training again. I began to coach my students. I began to coach. And then I got the desire back. And I said, man, one day I was in the gym. I was bouncing around. I was training with my guys. And I was like, you know what? I feel good. I feel really, really good. So you know what? Let's hit Jesse up, man. And let's see about getting the fight. And the next thing I know, I'm back at it again. And now I'm not looking back because I know how to train. I know how to train smart, and I know how to rest my body when my body says rest.
And man, I've seen you go from an Ami to a pro, to a successful pro, to a coach. I would basically compare you nowadays to, one of the Limas, one of the Rory Singers, one of the Bubby Mitchells, one of the most, respected coaches in Georgia. You mentioned coaching. Did coaching kind of help you get that groove back? You're coaching guys, you're cornering them, you're seeing them win. Did that kind of, make your blood boil and say, you know what, I got to get it back out there. I got to do this. I know I can do this.
Well, what it did was it made me better because now I had to sit. I go home at night. I make me something to drink, something nice and cold. I sit down and I get on my Xbox, cut YouTube on, and I'm studying film, studying technique, I'm studying, boxing, I'm studying Canelo Alvarez, I'm studying Islam Makhachev, Habib Nurmagomedov, Ben Askren. I'm studying all these guys, and I'm taking all of their games and putting it all together as one. And I go back and I teach it to my guys. How do you put this? Point being, Mike Wilson versus Scott Fortner. That entire fight, I put the game plan together the week of the fight because Mike didn't tell me that he was a jiu-jitsu black belt. I said, okay, Mike, I don't want you. I didn't know this guy was a black belt, so now we have to come up with a game plan. I don't want you engaging with jiu-jitsu in this guy. Mike's a jiu-jitsu guy. He loves jiu-jitsu. I said, Mike, let's use your jiu-jitsu to be on top. Get on a leg and ride it. Lace the leg, ride the hips. If you take his hips, he can't do jiu-jitsu. So this was the game plan going into the fight, and nobody's ever seen Mike Wilson look like that.
He looked phenomenal.
We saw a totally different Mike Wilson than what we're used to seeing. But it's game plan. And this comes from years and years of me just sitting and studying film. That's all I did for like the last 11 years. And now that I've learned how to dissect film and take it and then teach it to my guys, or I have several fighters, including Nate Williams. Hey, Doug, this is my opponent, man. Study him. Tell me what you see. Okay, Nate, I see this. I see that. Don't do this. Move that way. You see what I'm saying? So I get a lot of fighters that hit me up for advice for their fights, but it all came from studying film and just taking time off.
Well, kind of diverting. I mean, you say all that, right, Doug? And you talk about your fighters, but adding another layer to your dimensions is one of your fighters is your wife, and she's fighting in the co-main event tomorrow night. How do you balance all of that? Because you mentioned everything that you do, right? And one of the things that you also do is you're a father, work full time, coach, you're a fighter, you're a father. Your wife is fighting in the co-main event tomorrow night. How do you coach that? How do you balance that in life?
So this is the first I'm hearing that she's the co-main event.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
David.
I wanted to make her main event, have back-to-back Usher's main event, but
co-main event, Mr. Oblas, you see me smiling, right?
I think David's line got cut off.
No, David, you know what that means when I smile, right? You got to cut that check, baby.
I knew that was coming. That's why I'm not paying attention.
No, man.
I'll ask Nine to cut the check.
Right. So yeah, man. I've been working with Krista a lot. I took her over right before that fight she had with Danielle Wynn when she came out of retirement, semi-retirement in 2020. I took her over basically maybe a month before that fight. So after she lost that fight by decision, but she was out for 8 years, had 2 kids, and I just took her game, revamped it, worked with her a lot on her wrestling, and brought in a wrestling coach with Freddie. What's Freddie's name?
Freddie Rodriguez.
Yeah, Freddie. We brought Freddie down. Freddie actually came down and joined our gym because he wanted to train MMA. He wanted an MMA coach. So I was like, hey man, you come down, you teach my guys wrestling, I'll teach you MMA. Okay, cool. I said, so that was the exchange because he didn't have any money to pay the membership. So I worked with her on that, worked with her a lot on her stand-up. Now she has a boxing coach, Aladino from X3, Cuban Olympic. He coached the Cuban Olympic boxing team for 20 years, and I hired him as my boxing coach also. I hired her, Rodrigo Archulario, for her strength and conditioning, which she did this camp with my jiu-jitsu coach, Rodrigo. And, we just been working on Chris's game. And we won the AFC belt last year over in Alabama. And she went over there and beat the girl by TKO in the second round. And we brought her belt back to the gym. So now that she's pro, or she's turning pro, shout out to her opponent for not backing out. We've had 3 girls back out within the last, 4 months? Mm-hmm. So she was she was borderline ready to retire because she was tired of doing medicals and cutting weight and then girls backing out. So I thank her opponent for, staying in there and taking the fight. But tomorrow night, man, both girls are going to go out there and put on the show. But you know who I'm cornering and you know who I'm pulling for.
And you also have Seth Haas on the card, who I was super, super impressed with his last fight against Jose Gonzalez. That was probably amateur Muay Thai fight of the year. Those guys were throwing nonstop bombs for 3 rounds. He's taking the shin pads off. He's taking the headgear off. And he's going against Justin McCollum, who's an experienced kickboxer, who's gone against Ramondo Scott. He has knockout wins. He has a head kick knockout win over a guy who was 6 foot 3 inches tall. Super impressive because Justin McCollum is pretty short. Talk to me a little bit about Seth and his training, and is he ready to go for the fight tomorrow night?
Yeah, Seth's ready to go, man. This kid trains hard. I mean, all he does, whenever he's at the gym, he's just walking around punching random stuff. I'm like, Seth, stop punching stuff, man. Chill out, man, for a little bit. But he walks by something, just, he punches it. And that's why we call him, why I gave him the nickname 40 Cal, because boom, boom, boom. Sounds like somebody shooting a 40 all the time. Yeah. So he's a good kid, man. He's young, he's hungry, he's got a lot of energy, he's very energetic. And the kid's just tough. And he's got an excellent work ethic. And we know Justin. Justin trained with some of my judo guys. Josh White, things like that, because he's got that karate background. So the kid's he's impressive too. He has a win over Brendan, one of my students, by guillotine. And but I'm expecting a decided fight tomorrow. I don't even know if I'll be able to be coach without being a fan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a really, really exciting fight because both of those guys can crack, both of those guys can bang. And that was an excellent matchup right there.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you actually commentated that fight with me when he head kicked that guy.
Yeah.
That was at the Harley-Davidson event. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. The kid can move too, man. He's got a set of legs on him. So yeah. Seth's got his work cut out, but it's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be neck and neck.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, it's going to be the first one that can land that shot.
Well, Doug, you've got a lot of things going on, man, and let's circle back to you. Before we close out with you, what are your plans? You just had. Obviously, you looked phenomenal 2 weeks ago. And 2022 is right around the corner. I saw you put a post saying 2022 is your year, right? What do we got planned?
Well, somebody told me that the day after the fight. Good buddy of mine that was at my first pro fight, was a ringside physician in Tennessee. He's been at 3 of my pro fights, and me and this guy, he's a Jewish dude. He's a doctor. He lives up in New York. Me and him talk weekly. And matter of fact, he's a fan of David Oblas.
All these Jewish people stick together, especially during Hanukkah week right now.
Neil, his name is Neil Frauwerth, Polish guy. But and I give him all kinds of hell about sausage jokes and stuff like that. But but he told me, man, he goes, 2022 is going to be your year. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the next guy to fight locally, and I'm getting fight offers for local fights left and right, for belts and stuff. And you know, like, man, I'm gonna go on Twitter and post my record. And so I go on Twitter and I post my record, you know, from Tapology, you know, number 3 ranked middleweight in the country on Tapology. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm here. I tag PFL, I tag Bellator, I tag ONE FC, and I just got a wild idea. I tagged Ali Abdelaziz. So tagged all those guys, you know, and that was Saturday. I opened my Twitter Monday and I have Ali Abdelaziz in my inbox. So I chit-chatted with him for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, man, you know, I heard a lot about you. You know, Derek tells me a lot about you, Derek Brunson, you know, and stuff like that. And he told me he's going to have one of his guys contact me, and he never did. And so I reached back out to him Wednesday. Hey, man, your guy never responded, you know, never responded to me. You know, I did it on Twitter, and he didn't respond. I said, okay. So I remember Manua gave me his number like maybe 4.5 years ago. And I was like, I think that's the same dude. So I went in my phone, and sure enough, the name was there, Ali. And I texted the number. I said, hey, man, is this Ali? And he texts back, yeah, brother, what's up? And I'm like, Ali Abdelaziz? And he goes, yes, brother, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, okay. Now we got something going. So as I'm talking to him, I'm like, hey, man, your guy never reached out. And he's like, he didn't respond. And then I get a message from a guy, a representative for the PFL that saw my tweet. And I got in contact with him because I guess he saw that Manu was friends with me on Instagram, and he sent Manu a message saying, hey, do you know this guy? Do you train this? You know, this guy trains with you. And Manu forwarded me the message. So I reached out to the guy and gave him my number, and we talked. He goes, hey, man, yeah, I'm a representative for the PFL, and I want to know if you'll be interested in applying, filling out the application for our Challenger Series, which starts up in February. And I said, sure, man. You know, it's like I train with Nate Williams all the time. Me and Nate talk every day on the phone. Yeah, I know Nate Williams. Yeah, good guy. I met him at his fight. So I was like, okay, I filled out the application, but the tournament's at 205. So if need be, I'll put on weight, I'll bulk up, and I'll go try. Because the last 205 tournament was 285ers in the finals. So I said, cool, you know, this is my only shot. This is my last shot, you know. So I was like, why not? Worst that'll happen is I can go in there and fight somebody over in St. Cruz size and lose and still get paid. All I care about now is getting paid, you know. So I told Ali, I said, hey, man, you know, he was like, hey, I'm going to have my guy, I'm going to call you in 2 hours. And I said, okay, by the way, you know, PFL reached out this morning and wanted me to fill out the application for the Challenger Series. And I filled it out. He immediately called me. So it's my first time ever talking to this guy on the phone. We talked for about 30 minutes, and, you know, he's sitting there looking at my record. And he's like, you know, your record is more than impressive enough for me to sign you, but I want to lay out a plan before I do that. And then he put me in contact with his agent that's up under him that works for him. And then I ended up talking to that guy that night for about 30 minutes. So something's going to shake as early as January. I just don't know exactly what it is, I got an idea, but I don't want to release any information until we got something set in stone, and then I'll make the announcement. As far as 2022, you're probably going to see me. It won't be the UFC because Nick Maynard's already told him I'm too old. And so it won't be the UFC, but it's definitely going to be somewhere else where I'm going to go somewhere and make some good money and finally start to have some of the things that I've always wanted in life and that I've worked so hard for. So I'm hitting 2022 head first, and, you know, no matter who they put in front of me, they can get it, whether it's 85, 205, you know, the money's right. You know, I'm coming out, I'm coming to you with these hands up, and, you know, we're going to stand toe to toe. And if you ain't standing there trading, you're running, and we all knows what happens when you run. So I got enough power in both hands to knock out 85ers. I can knock out 205ers. It don't matter. Put them in front and let's get it done. I'm trying to get paid.
I'm Team Doug, man, all day
Yeah.
long. I believe 2022 is going to happen. One thing I need you to promise me, Doug, though, is no matter how much money you make, I still need you to ask Oblas to cut the check.
He gonna cut the check for life. As long as he lives, I'm gonna show up at his funeral and I'm gonna give a speech. And I'm gonna say, even though you're not here with us anymore, you still got to cut that check.
It's probably gonna be you that murders me, looking through my house for money, because I know you got all those guns.
I'll send Giramonte over there. Won't even be me.
I already killed that son of a bitch. You're gonna have to send someone a little tougher.
Well, Doug, listen, man, thank you so much, man. Thanks for joining us on the podcast, man. We wish you obviously nothing but the best here at the NFC. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, checking you out tomorrow with your two fighters, including Krista. And we're looking forward to it, man. We're looking forward to 2022 being your year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna do my best, to represent Atlanta. And I'll always carry the NFC on my back, whether I get to the big show or not. You guys helped make this possible. If it wasn't for Jesse and David, putting me on these shows, and giving me these opportunities and, bringing these guys in to fight, even though sometimes I took pay cuts just to get these guys to come fight because I had to keep going in there and challenging myself and just trying to become better and better each fight, and so I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you guys for everything. And in 2022, we're going to march. My boy Robert Hill right here, he's coming. King Hill, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. The 5th. Robert Hill, the 5th. Atlanta is coming. Beware of us Atlanta fighters. You can keep running from us, but we're going to track you down, and we're going to get in that ass, and that's a promise.
All right, Doug. Well, thanks a lot, man. We'll see you tomorrow night at District Atlanta. Take care.
Take care. Thank y'all.
Yep.
So I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but Doug Usher is going to get in that ass. Least intimidating line ever. And then you had Christian Turner mention Bang Bros a couple times. So this whole thing's gone porno in one night.
Only you went there, Oblas. Only you.
I'm just repeating what they said. And then you've got Jesse's wife, Tiffany, that just commented a little while ago that this is longer than an Ellen DeGeneres episode.
Geez. All right, so listen, we could wrap it up, but there's one thing I got to ask you, Oblas, before we wrap it up. You put a post out there this week about teaming up with 2 other promoters. First time you've ever done that. These are guys that have been known as NFC competitors. Now you've brought them in and you're working with them.
Yeah, so I don't know if they were too much competitors. I think the only competitor we've had is those schmucks at 864 FC. They're really trying to compete with us. But I think Tim Malloy with Valor, used to be Valor, now with Arias FC, and Jared with Conflict. We've always been friendly with. Jesse messages them. I've talked to them all the time. And it's kind of an idea I had years ago and I've talked to them about. And we did it years ago with Alliance MMA, where Alliance's goal was to put the top 15 fight promotions together. And it was a really cool experience. Every show I went to with them, and no one else from NFC got to experience that. Jesse, you, Charlene, the other people. But this is an opportunity for us to work with Tim Loy and Jared Williams and see the best things that they bring to the show, the best things that we bring to the show, let everyone's staff meet each other. Just spend maybe Friday and Saturday down in Macon together, go get dinner and drinks and everyone, and just see what everyone brings to the equation. We've already messaged with them a lot. We've already talked to them. I think we're going to have a 3-way call with Jesse about matchmaking next week. Me and Charlene are going down Wednesday to Bubby's gym to take a look about seating and tables and chairs and stuff like that. And it's just a good camaraderie. And I think it's terrific for the fighters that they get to meet all 3 promoters in one setting. Even if you're not fighting on that card, come down and work someone's corner, come down and hang out. Because if you're only used to fighting for, Dave Oblas and the NFC, this is your opportunity to meet 2 other promotions that we get along with, we share fighters with. And talking to them, last couple of weeks, they look at so many things different than what I look at with the show. That I think it's just going to benefit all of us tremendously. One of my good friends is Michael Kelly, who runs Tuck Tuck Food Loft here in Atlanta, 2 other restaurants. And we always talk about how he can go to any other restaurant owner in Atlanta and compare ideas, see what works, doesn't work, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all these different ideas you might have, promotions. But for me as a fight promoter, there's not that many people I can talk to about ideas and steal ideas from them. And Tim and Jared have been two guys that we talk to all the time. And it's a good opportunity just for us all to learn.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to bring up. I'm fortunate enough to get to, pick Oblas's brain all the time, who's definitely the best promoter in Georgia, I think, in the country. But now I get to pick the brain of Tim Loy, who's probably the best in Tennessee, and Jared Williams, who's out of South Carolina. And we all get to kind of group chat every day and share ideas. And it's really cool. And I get to learn a lot. And, I'm always trying to learn and get better at what I do. So I'm definitely excited to learn under Tim Loy and Jared Williams as well.
I can only imagine how much, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. A fighter, local fighters must be like, holy smokes, these three are going to get together. That's going to be awesome for me, right? And Jesse, I can only imagine for you, it's only going to open up a bigger pool of fighters for you to be able to kind of bring in and match fighters together.
Yeah, and kind of for all three too. So now Tim Loy and Jared are going to get to meet a lot of Atlanta fighters. So vice versa, a lot of them are going to want to go fight for Conflict and for Aries, which is awesome. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the good thing is there are some fighters that don't like us. I think they're wrong, but there's some fighters that don't like us. So the good thing is Tim Loy could hit those up. Jared could hit those up. And the guys that might not like those guys, Jesse Wable could hit up. And I think this is going to be a good, fun experience for everyone to kind of meet everyone out there. I always tell our Atlanta guys, they need to go out of town. They need to fight for other promotions. And this is an excellent opportunity for them to meet two of the best promoters and go fight for their shows. And, one thing I've tried to do this year is through COVID in the last 2 years, really, is as some venues shut down, I'll use center stage example. They went from 100% capacity down to 50%, up to 75, down to 50, up to 80. They've been all over the place. And District and Tannery Row gave us full ability to do everything that we want to do in the last 2 years. But one thing I want to do is go back to gyms a little bit and give back to some of the gyms that have done so much for us. So we hosted quite a few events, jiu-jitsu events at Lead Edge. We did a jiu-jitsu event at Knuckle Up. Now this one will be at Rush MMA in Macon, Bubby Mitchell's gym. So it's just a cool experience to do. And Macon has the best venue, probably in the Southeast, in the Macon Auditorium. And even Bubby told me it was the best that he's ever been to and fought at. I went and looked at it, and it is just too big with us right now. It's probably 1,700 people, a new city for all of us. It's just not right. Bubby's gym, we're fit about 600 or 700 people in there. We're sell out easy. We're get a fan base down in Macon. And then if we do this a second or third time, maybe we do go to that bigger venue. And I want this to be something we continue every once in a while. Like I want to do something in South Carolina where we go and watch Jared's show, and Jared's the lead promoter, and we go see his venue and what he does, and we get to help out. And then same thing with Tim Loy. So I think this is going to be a good adventure for all of us to do once a year and kind of partner with one another.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. But what I'm really looking forward to is tomorrow night. We've got an exciting show. We wrap up the year with tomorrow night's show. Oblas, quick summation on the year. How'd it go?
Man, we did 13 fights this year, which is the most busy we've ever been. We did 2 jiu-jitsu events at District. We did a few jiu-jitsu tournaments. I can't remember what we did this year for jiu-jitsu. We did the purple belt this year or the blue belt last year. We did the All Valley No-Gi tournament this year. It was December 31st last year. I met with Jesse and Charlene up at, what was that, Mall of Georgia?
Yeah.
So we met December 31st, New Year's Eve last year. In the thick of COVID, I told them we had to change something up. We had to start some new things up and just change everything up a little bit. That's when we came up with the Jesse Wable Amateur Series. We've done 2 of those. Both of them have sold out. They've developed a lot of new fighters. They've given this amateur fighters an opportunity to fight in the main event, co-main event, get the Flatline Cinema video done on them. So I think that helps them elevate to when they do become pros. But overall, this has been by far our most busy year we've ever done, which is amazing considering we're still kind of in COVID, I guess. A lot of promotions, a lot of states are still somewhat shut down. And we did 13 shows this year, and we launched a podcast as well. So we've been busier than anyone else, I think.
Jesse, what's the lowdown on, obviously we jump right back in January. Need fighters?
Yeah.
Are we looking for fighters, or are they just lining up for you?
Yeah, we're staying busy for sure. I know we got January 15th, February 19th, March 5th, and then we're probably doing another Jesse Wable Amateur Series in April. Definitely staying busy. Oblas keeps us busy, which is awesome. I'm thankful for it. It's cool. Looking forward to it. But guys, tomorrow night, NFC 141 at District Atlanta. Tickets at nfcfighting.com. Get them. Doors open at what, David? 3 o'clock?
Yeah. So the cool thing is, the cool thing is we went against the SEC championship. This was a favor I did for Stein, one of the owners of the district. They knew they wouldn't get anything else the night of the SEC championship. They knew a EDM band that normally wouldn't bring in a crowd. So I told them we'd do a fight on SEC championship night. I knew it would be different. And with Georgia having a stellar year, I said, let's open the doors at 3:30. Let's show the game. It'll make for a longer day for all of us. Setting up the cage at 9, 10 a.m. tomorrow. But I think if we didn't do that, people would go to Taco Mac. People would go to Wild Wing. They'd get drunk. They'd be there till 8:30 watching the game. And even if they bought tickets for the fights, they might not even show. So I said the only way to get around that is we have to open up 3 hours early, and we also have to show the game. So when you think about it, outside of the Mercedes-Benz Arena, if we get 500-600 people in there tomorrow night, hopefully by the time the game starts, I might be wrong, but this will be the second most crowded place in Atlanta tomorrow watching the Georgia-Alabama game. That's my marketing line, at least. Second most crowded place in Atlanta, 500 people watching the Georgia-Alabama game.
Cool. Well, sounds good, guys. Well, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait till tomorrow night. That concludes this podcast. And I don't know when we're going to do the next one. I would hope that we will put together a little closeout for the end of the year. But as always, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow night at NFC 141 at District Atlanta. For Jesse Wable, Discount Dana, David Oblas, Budget Bruce, Jose Santiago, that's me. Thanks, everyone, for watching this episode of the NFC Podcast.